Bonus content here on the Locked On Celtics podcast. Thank you so much for being with me. Normally Monday through Fridays, bonus podcasts on the weekends of when they play, when the Celtics play. But in the afternoons, early evenings, whatever it is, I'll drop a little something extra. So thank you very much for being here, being a part of it. If you're new, if this is your first exposure, it's just a little taste of what the Locked On Celtics podcast is. So thank you very much for being with me. I'm John Karalis. I'm a beat writer covering the Celtics for Celtics on SI. Check me out here. I've been doing this job for like 20 years for various places. This podcast is 10 years old. So today we're going to hand out some grades at the All-Star break. Brad Stevens, Joe Mazzulla, the players, all of that stuff. Today's show is brought to you by TurboTax, this bonus podcast brought to you by TurboTax, and tax season doesn't have to take over your life. TurboTax is making it easier to hand off your stuff, your taxes with a local expert. And get this TurboTax full service, having it done by a trusted local expert. No stress, no guesswork. You don't have to take hours with the forms and figuring things out with W-2, self-employment, all of that stuff. You just go to a TurboTax expert. You do it in person, online. You can upload your documents, whether it's W-2, self-employed forms, all of that stuff. And you go about your day. You get updates right in the TurboTax app. It's a huge time saver, and you have real peace of mind knowing that an expert is handling it for a limited time. You can have your taxes done by a local expert for just $150 all in. If a TurboTax expert didn't file for you last year, just filed by February 28th, take taxes off your plate and get back to your life. Visit turbotax.com/local to book your appointment today. So grades at the All-Star break is something fun to do. Let's start with Brad Stevens, Joe Mazzulla, and then later on we'll get to the players. I don't know if you could give Joe Mazzulla anything but an A+ for the job that he's doing. Let's see. Why is Joe an A+? Well, first of all, they're the second seed, and he's a big reason why. Second of all, he keeps throwing guys into that lineup over and over. Doesn't matter who it is. It was Josh Minott. He started a bunch of games early in the season. He got them some wins. It was Jordan Walsh for a little while. He helped them get some wins. It was, it's been Baylor Shireman recently. He's been helping them get some wins. He's been rebounding like crazy. Every button he pushes. Luka Garza in early, not so much. Then get some DMPs. Then next thing you know, back off the bench, and he's been huge. I'll get to Luka Garza later. I think that call me crazy, but I think you can call Luka Garza the Celtics MVP of January. I'll get to that in a second. But all of these things, Joe Mazzulla has just pressed, when you talk about the right buttons, he's pressed all the right buttons. The offense, people still want to say that, oh, he's a three-point happy guy. No, it's not three-pointers. It's not just three-pointers for the Celtics right now. It's a different mix. It's mid-range. It's more in the paint. It's a different shot diet because they've got different players. Joe Mazzulla has said, we don't have a system. We have our identity. We know that it's reads. It's read-based. It's not about you have to follow A, B, C, D, and that's how we do things. It's not a rigid memorization. It's teaching guys to think for themselves. This is what makes him an A+ coach. He's teaching guys to think for themselves. I see a guy kind of angled this way. This is what I'm going to do. And he's got to have 5 guys on the same team, on the same page. They all see that one guy do this thing, and all of them go, okay, well, I know JB is going to do this, and I know Derrick's going to do this, so I got to be here, because that's where a potential outlet pass is going to be. Same play can look 5 different ways, 10 different ways, depending on what the read is. So Joe has got these guys just playing out of their minds, playing on the same page. They're all in. They're all in with the team, and it's been an incredible coaching job. Now, I've been saying from the beginning that Joe Mazzulla is a good coach. Joe Mazzulla gets it. I've been on board the Joe Mazzulla train from the beginning just because I could tell that the way he thinks just made sense. The way he approached things just made sense. The first year that he got the team, was he a little in over his head? Probably, because he got the team 2 days before training camp. And it took a season for him to get his own identity in there. Now that he's settled in, we're seeing the best of Joe Mazzulla. And I think that's a really important part of all of this, that we're seeing this absolute best of Joe. And it's coach of the year type stuff. And I'll take it a step further. I've made the Eric Spoelstra comparisons to Joe just in that when Spo first got the job, people are saying he's overwhelmed. He doesn't know what he's doing. He might be good with a young team, but you can't give him an established team and so on and so forth. And the front office stood behind him. The ownership stood behind him. And now Spo is a genius, considered to be one of, if not the best coach in the league. So I think Mazzulla is on that track. He's shut up a lot of haters. He has shut up a lot of haters. And people who are still hating, at this point, you've not understood. You're not getting it. He's absolutely one of the best coaches in the league. And you hear somebody like Nikola Vucevic talking about all the adjustments that he's making in game. You don't see the adjustments because I don't see the adjustments. I think I'm a pretty smart basketball guy. I couldn't look at a game and tell you every adjustment that he's making, but it's types of defense, where the pickup points are, the types of defense that they're playing. And you don't see all of it. You have to be an NBA person, an NBA mind to have that. But he's been just incredible with all of this, and it's just been so much fun to see him become this kind of coach. We say the front office, Brad Stevens absolutely gets an A. I'm not going to say A+ for Brad because there's still moves to be done. There's still moves to be made. But you think about where this team has been. Brad had in his front office, and this, like when I give Joe the A+, it's Joe and the entire coaching staff because you can't do it without the coaching staff. Brad and the entire front office. So everybody in that front office gets the A. Brad's the face of it, but it's like a director getting an award. It's the whole crew. It's everybody that gets it. Brad, think about every move that he's made has paid off in some regard. So even somebody like Josh Minot paid off. Now, did he pay off in a huge jackpot? But you think about like in terms of scratch tickets, right? Every guy you take like that, you're taking a gamble. You're scratching, right? So Josh Minot, they traded him away. He fell out of the rotation, but he still won them games earlier. So you know what? That $2 scratch ticket, $10 winner. All right, great. It's not going to change your life, but you got $10. And so great. I'll take $10 on a scratcher. No problem. That's what Josh Minot was. He paid off. Not big, but he paid off. Same thing. Like the Baylor Shireman pick, that's starting to pay off, right? I'd say Baylor Shireman is like a big, long, slow game of Keno where you've picked like 8 numbers, but 4 or 5 of them have come in. You're like, oh, whoa. Okay, I'm starting to get a couple of these numbers. And now we're watching. Do I get another number? Do I get another number? How big is this payoff going to be? Same thing with Hugo Gonzalez, who I think Hugo is just a slam dunk. I think that's an easy one. And so I feel like every kind of play that he's made, Brad has made, it's been great. And then you take the cap maneuvering, and so you move Kristaps Porzingis, you create a traded player exception. You get Anthony Simons, you move Drew Holiday, you move Simons, you get a traded player exception. And because you did what you did with Kristaps Porzingis, you're able to create that second traded player exception because you move Vucevic into that, and it's just cap maneuvering. Now you've extended your ability to take in a big salary, and you've made it even bigger. They've taken an over the second apron team and gotten them under the first apron, under the tax, which is important just because it gives them that flexibility. Just where they were, and you go back to prior to the season, you go for it, you win a championship, you tear it down real quick. They're still good because all the little ancillary moves you've made are good. And you've put yourself in position to still be able to build around Tatum and Brown. You don't have to trade one of those guys. Now, everyone else in the right deal can be up for grabs, but there are a lot of maneuvers that they can make. So Brad Stevens absolutely gets an A. Let's take a second. We'll come back. I'll give out player grades real quick right here on a bonus Locked On Celtics podcast. Today's bonus Locked On Celtics brought to you by ZocDoc. finding a doctor you actually like, who's available, who's in network. It's all very difficult, but it's possible. They exist, and they exist on ZocDoc. So check out this free app and website. Helps you find and book high-quality in-network doctors so you can find someone you love without all the hassle. We're talking about booking in-network appointments with more than 150,000 providers across 50 states, covering 200 specialties from primary care to dentistry, dermatology, and eye care. We've all put off going to the doctor, but ZocDoc knows. ZocDoc makes it simple, so you can go search by specialty, search by your symptoms. You can get real-time availability, book instantly. You don't have to wait on hold with a phone call. You just book online. You don't have to talk to a person. You get verified patient reviews, so you feel confident about the doctor you choose. And whether you want to go in person or do a video visit, ZocDoc makes it super easy either way. Don't put off those doctor appointments. Go to ZocDoc.com/LockedOnNBA to find and instantly book a doctor that you love today. That's ZocDoc, ZocDoc.com/LockedOnNBA. Check it out. Thank you, ZocDoc, for sponsoring this message. Today's show also brought to you by Wayfair. It's time to refresh your home, right? It's been cold. It's snowy outside. You're spending a lot more time, and you're looking around going, I need to fix this up. So go to Wayfair. Whatever it is, you want new bedding, you want new storage solutions, you just want a whole new living room. It's all there in one place. Go to Wayfair. Whatever your style, whatever your budget. My wife and I have gone to Wayfair plenty of times. I've gotten those boxes, which are delivered very quickly. You get exactly what you expect. Very easy to put together if you have to put it together. You can have somebody put it together for you too, for a couple extra bucks. And it's all available there at Wayfair. Huge selection. So whatever your style, you got everything. We've redone a couple of rooms. We've done an outdoor space. It's not a big thing. It's just little pieces make a big difference. You find anything you want over there at Wayfair. Get organized, refresh, and get back on track. Head to wayfair.com right now to shop all things home. That's WAYFAR.com. Wayfair, every style, every home. I want to thank you for making this Locked On Celtics bonus podcast part of your now daily routine. If you're new to the show is a 30-minute show plus 35 minutes sometimes. Available Monday through Friday. It's available on YouTube. It's available on any podcasting app. So check it out. Join me every Monday through Friday and bonus podcasts when they play on weekends. Let's get into the player grades. So I have 1A on this team, and that's Jaylen Brown, who's having an all-NBA season. I don't think there's up for debate, right? Do we need to actually debate that Jaylen Brown's grade into the All-Star break is an A? Maybe you'll say A-, A+, but even if you're not the biggest Jaylen Brown fan, he's averaging 29, basically 29, 7, and 5 assists. That's incredible, right? Now, the efficiency has dropped a little bit, and people don't like the turnovers. I think he is sometimes trying to do too much. That is fair. That's why it's not an A+ to me. But the Celtics, you just cannot deny the Celtics are the second seed in the East, in large part thanks to Jaylen Brown. That is not up for debate. Now, when Jayson comes back and he's fully healthy, you can have the 1 versus 2 debate and all that stuff. But there's no debate. Jaylen Brown's season is, at the very least, an A. You can't bring him down below. If you want to say A-, A+, that's fine. But he's done all the heavy lifting for most of the season. He has been a huge, huge reason for this. So give him his flowers and move on. B+, I have 5 B+, and that's Derrick White, Payton Pritchard, Neemias Queta, Sam Hauser, Luka Garza. You know, the Garza-Hauser combination really messes with my old school Rhode Island accent, which I actually took classes at Emerson to eradicate. That's part of the curriculum. We took a voice and articulation class. I used to have a very thick, wicked Rhode Island accent. But when you say Hauser and Garza, you get into that New England Hauser Garza. That really just drives me nuts. Anyway, side note. Derrick White's a B+ because his shooting. Same with Payton Pritchard. They're both B+ because their shooting is down well below where it was before in their career. Now, Derrick is struggling from The struggling from the field. If anybody looks at that glitch in the video, it's because I just sneezed. Derrick is struggling from the field because he's doing a lot more pull-up stuff. When Jayson comes back, he's going to go back to a lot more catch and shoot. That's more his comfort zone. So I think that's going to, I think that'll level off, and Derrick will get back to being more of who he was before offensively. And I think ultimately all of this stuff, the off the dribble stuff, the pull-up shots, that's going to help him when he gets back to mostly catch and shoot, because it's going to just be a little easier for him. So, but Derrick, incredible defense. The Celtics are 9.5 points per 100 possessions better when Derrick White's on the floor. That's because they're about 10 points per 100 possessions better defensively, and they're only a little tick down offensively because of his shooting. Same with Pritchard as far as the shooting goes. But off the bench, this is the next thing. Since he's gone off the bench, the percentages, efficiency has gone up. So very nice for him. I think that's going to turn around. Keita is a B+. He's been so impressive. I think he's been so great for the Celtics. I don't know what else to say. He's turned himself into a good defender. He's one of the most impactful defenders on the team. He's 8th in the league in block percentage. He's become a real integral part of the offense. He's been just incredible for them, and I'm impressed. I came into the season thinking he was going to be part of the worst front court in the league, and he's been a really reliable starter. And I think no matter how it goes with him and Vucevic, that's going to be whether he moves to the bench or not, he's going to be impactful. Hauser's a B+, because his shooting is down, but he's still up high because I think this is the best basketball he's played in his career. Defense, rebound, passing, all improved. So Hauser's still a B+, and he's shooting is at 39%, but it's still streaky. This is the first time he's gone into the All-Star break shooting less than 40%. Luka Garza is a B+. Just he's had some ups and downs. But like I said, I think he's the MVP of January just because of the offensive rebounding, the energy, the picks and pops, the 3-point shots that he hits, the offensive rebounding where he led the league in offensive rebound rate. He's the best offensive rebounder they had. Him and Keita both carried the offensive rebounding. January, they were 10-6 in January. I wouldn't be surprised if they were 8-8, maybe less. They could have been worse if it wasn't for Garza. So that gets him the B+. Despite early season struggles, you take the whole thing in totality, B+ is a really good grade for him. I'm giving Baylor Shireman, Jordan Walsh B- just because Baylor started out at a C and has bumped his way up to a B-. Shooting is still inconsistent, but the rebounding, the defense, the energy has been great since he's been a starter. I think what he's been in January and February has been really, really important. January and February, he's had, 13 offensive rebounds in 21 games, January, February. He had 10 in 28 games in October, November, December. So the rebounding is there. He's crashing. He's extending possessions. The defensive rebounding is really good. The Celtics defensive rebounding has improved a lot in part because Baylor has done a great job. So B- for him and a chance to really improve that. Walsh started up higher, and I think he's dropped to a B-. We saw against Chicago the best of what Jordan could be, but elite defender, elite crasher, can be, I think, better than a B- player. I think he could be a B+ player, even an A player if he just excels in that role. And the problem there is the shooting, the efficiency is not there. He needs to shoot better. But when he's playing well, you can feel it, man. He is just an incredible defender and all of that. And Hugo Gonzalez is the last grade, a C+, because he's 19. He has those flashes that I love. I am driving the Hugo Gonzalez hype train. I've said that before. He's a C+, but inconsistent. He's learning the game. not a worry. He's a straight A student that's going to work his way up from a C+, but still, a lot to go. But those flashes are amazing. Incompletes for Amari, incomplete for Ron Harper Jr., obviously incomplete for Nikola Vucevic. They haven't played enough for us to get any sort of feel. I'm not really giving grades out to the guys who were traded because they're gone, but I'd say Anthony Simons probably is worth a B. Inconsistent for his time here. Josh Minot had a good stretch for him, but would probably end up being like a C because he fell out of the line. He fell out of the rotation. It was probably his fault. And Tillman and Boucher never really played, so they're on their way out. Goodbye. Those are the grades. Let me know what you think, if you agree. This is a bonus podcast, so I will have a full podcast later on where I'm answering mailbag questions. So those questions go to johnkaralis.com/mailbag. Make sure you're tuned into the full podcast. Appreciate you being here for the bonus podcast. Again, this is supposed to be like 15 minutes. I went a little bit long. I always go long. So thank you. I appreciate you being here. Make sure you're sharing the podcast. Tell everybody they should be listening to and watching the Locked On Celtics podcast here on the Locked On Podcast Network. It's your team every day.